These are definitely going to be the two most popular drones for 2023, especially this one going into the holiday season. This will definitely be one on a lot of people's list. However, there's definitely some reasons why you're going to want to step up to something like the Air 3. Now, I just made a video on why you might want to pick up the Mini 4 Pro over the Air 3. So in this video, let's talk about some of those advantages of the Air 3 over something like the all-new Mini 4 Pro. And I want to dive right into the biggest benefit. As you can see here, we have a single camera on the Mini 4 Pro. On the new Air 3, we have a dual camera setup. The bottom of the two cameras here is the wide angle one, 24mm equivalent f1.7 aperture, and the top one is a 70mm equivalent f2.8 on that top tele cam. Now, in my opinion, if you do video as like your primary gig, say for instance, if you do weddings or if you do real estate, having the ability to zoom in at that 70mm creates a completely different look to your footage. Especially when it comes down to drones, a lot of times you want to keep that drone further away from your subject, further away from a building, and you want to be able to at least zoom in or get tighter without it being digital zoom. And that's the reason why you're going to want to change up to something like an Air 3 or something like a MAVIC 3 Pro, where you actually do have two different cameras on board this drone. The type of look you get when shooting with something like a 3x or 70mm equivalent lens is completely different than shooting on something wide like these drones here with the single camera. If you're shooting with the Mini lineups, they all shoot at that wider angle. But when you have something like this, the Air as well as the MAVIC 3 Pro, you have just a completely different look to your footage, a lot different compression. That background comes a lot closer to your foreground. And also if you're moving your drone left to right, there is a huge parallax difference there with the foreground and background. You see it a lot more with that longer lens. And the next advantage we'll talk about with the Air 3 is that if you do find yourself flying in areas that are extremely windy or in higher elevation, you're gonna wanna go with a little bit heavier of a platform, a little stronger motors on the Air 3. Now, not to take anything away from the Mini 4 Pro, on my most recent trip to Utah, I was flying this out there at 11,000 feet. We were at the top of the Snowbird Mountain Resort, and this thing handled without any issues. When I was flying it, it did well at 11,000 feet. Now, even though I was flying at that elevation, I wasn't really ascending and descending at a really fast rate. I was mostly just kind of staying at that altitude I was at and flying, different routes, different circles. So I kept it pretty simple. However, if you are finding yourself in areas where it's always windy, a lot of hillsides, cliffs, and you are also at elevation, you're gonna wanna go with a heavier platform in the air. These smaller drones kind of whip around a lot, which of course is going to put a lot more work on your camera and your gimbal. Where here, it can handle a little bit more wind, sits in the air a lot easier. And the next thing we'll talk about is something I just mentioned. The ascend and descend rate on the Air 3 is much faster than the Mini 4 Pro. Now, one reason why you might want to, have the drone raise and lower in the air a lot quicker is if you're trying to also get some different moods, different looks in your shot. Sometimes when you're coming up on a hill, you want to be able to just go right up on it and climb right over it really quickly, and you have that ability here on the Air 3. Next, we'll talk about battery life, and this is really minimal, but it is rated. The Air 3 is rated for 46 minutes up in the air, while the Mini 4 Pro, if you get the larger capacity battery, which is this one here, the larger capacity battery, you can go up to 45 minutes rated. Minute difference, but it is still an advantage. And of course, it's not, it's only rated for that much. You'll probably get a solid 30 plus minutes on both these drones. Now, jumping back over to the cameras, we actually do have same sensor size on both the cameras, 1/1.3 inch CMOS sensor. However, we do have a more advanced stacked sensor here on the Air 3 in comparison to the Mini 4 Pro. Now, not taking anything away from the Mini 4 Pro, we actually do have an updated sensor here when comparing this camera to something like the Mini 3 Pro and compare it to the Mini 3. But we do have a new stack sensor here on the Air 3. Finally, my favorite feature of the Air 3 over the Mini 4 Pro is that you are able to track and follow subjects faster with the Air 3. Combine that with that 70mm lens, you get a completely different look. Hopefully this gave you a little bit more information about which drone to choose if you wanted the Air 3 over the Mini 4 Pro. And like I said, if you haven't seen that video of why you might want the Mini 4 Pro over something like the Air 3, make sure you guys check out that video listed down below. As always, if you guys got some value from this video, a big like would be much appreciated. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell to be notified when I post new videos. And of course, if you guys haven't seen my Mini 4 review video and the comparison video, make sure you guys check that out. It'll be listed here, as well as another video right over here.